It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You're listening to Take 5, a quick 5-minute podcast on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I'm your host, Matt McMaster. Today we're talking about Nebraska football. Now, I was sitting down last night just thinking about Nebraska football, thinking about this podcast, thinking about what we're going to talk about today. And I thought immediately, I go, who is Nebraska's best football player on the team this year? Who is by far, just no doubt, the best player on this season's roster? And I came to the realization that that isn't an obvious answer. There isn't a player on this team where you go for sure, no doubt, bang, hey, that's our best guy. That's our best player. There's plenty of guys who have potential to be the best player on this team by the end of the year. Dylan Raiola, obviously, is the first one that comes to people's minds. Vincent Shavers, Willis McGahee, those are two guys who showed a lot of promise and play that kind of premium position to where they can be effective, especially when they played really well in the Pinstripe Bowl. Those are two guys you think of. You have some veterans that, Deshaun Singleton and Marquise Buford and Dane Key, and you got some production coming in as Isaiah Hunter from Cal, the wide receiver. There's a couple options. I think I would probably go with either Singleton or Key as type of guys where you're like, all right, these are your best players just because of their returning production. I mean, Key's played 38 games in college. Singleton's played 30. They've both been, pretty decent producers in their career. But I think that, first off, Dane Key and Deshaun Singleton, fine players, but I wouldn't consider them to be superstars. They're not preseason All-Americans. I don't even think they're preseason All-Big Ten first team. Maybe if Raiola and Key have a big season together, Key can end up being All-Big Ten second team. But I don't think this team has a superstar. I don't think this team has a for sure band down the hatches, that every time they step on the football field heading into this season, they have a dude. They have a guy. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent on this team. They have a lot of depth on this team. There are plenty of players on this team that I think could end up being really good college football players. And you put them all together, I think this team, whether it be this year or next year, has potential to compete for a college football playoff spot. But that's the problem. There's a lot of good pieces, and there's not one great piece on this team. There's not one guy where great player for sure. We know that every time he steps on the field, we can trust him. And that worries me a lot. It worries me a ton about this program because look at the teams that you're trying to beat. You're trying to beat Ohio State. You're trying to beat Penn State. You're trying to beat Oregon. Those teams have superstars. You got Jeremiah Smith. You have Nick Singleton and Katron Allen and Carnell Tate and Drew Aller and, up and down the list of just guys who for sure, like, oh my God, if this guy doesn't get drafted next year, what went wrong? Nebraska doesn't have that. Who's the draft pick this year on Nebraska's football team? Who's the for sure guy that right now, if they enter the draft, they would get picked? Singleton? Maybe. Key? Maybe, but they would be day 3 picks. They wouldn't be day 1 or day 2 right now with the body of work that they've done in college. And so it worries me a ton that this team has a ton of potential. But potential right now is one of the scariest words, I think, in college football. It's great to have potential. It's great to have a high ceiling. I'm glad that Nebraska football has recruited and put themselves in a position to the point where, we could be at the end of next season, and I would not be surprised if there were 4 draft picks on this team. Seriously, I would, by the end of the year, if there were 4 guys that we were like, they either can get drafted now or they're going to get drafted next year, I would not be surprised at all if there were multiple dudes on this roster who we look at like that. The problem is, though, is that there could be only 1. There could be only 2. There could be only 0 maybe if all things don't go well. And so I think this is what boils down to is when we joke about the drinking the Kool-Aid, right? And we joke about, every year Nebraska football's off-season champions and all that stuff. It really is just about how much stock are you willing to put into potential. I think I fall on the lesser side of that question because I want to know about your production. And when we go down the list of this team, man, there's a lot of talent. There's not as much production, I think, that you need to be a 9-10 win team. So I'm not making a prediction right now on where is this team going to be and who are going to be the guys that could take that next step. But looking at it now, I really could not confidently tell you, no doubt, that this player is the best player on Nebraska football. And that should be a really, really scary thing. All right, I've been Matt McMaster, and that's been Take 5.